Hello and welcome back to the Battle Room. I'm, of course, the Battle Room. And today we are joined by the teams from the first ever Pokemon Champions tournament. So last night there's a tournament. It went until like 2 in the morning. But it was the first ever tournament. And this is so exciting. I'm excited to look at these teams, talk about them, and get some inspiration for my own teams. So I'll link it down below so you have access to all the teams. Like, again, there are so many teams. Like, it literally just goes on like I think there was like around 800 people in this tournament, so there is a ton of teams to talk about and look at. But we're just going to be mainly focusing on the top 16 today. Obviously, there were other people that cut. It was a huge cut. Again, it's a giant tournament. Well, let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. Let's look at these teams. So we'll start with top 16 and move our way up. So first things first here, we got a Charizard, Whimsicott, Garchomp, Sneasler, Aegislash, and Incineroar team. So Charizard is one of the best megas in the game. He's incredible. He's very good. And he pairs extremely well with Garchomp. So I think this is a core that you're going to see a lot. It's usually Garchomp, Charizard, Sneasler, Incineroar, and then a grass type, usually Whimsicott or Venusaur. Whimsicott or Venusaur, and then filler, right? So this team is actually perfect team to talk about to start with. But yeah, so the core itself is just so powerful. I think it's probably one of the day one established teams. I think this is definitely one of them. Charizard, Garchomp, Sneasler, Incineroar. Solid, good core. Why is it good? So Charizard, obviously, you get to spam Earthquake. Garchomp can run a variety of items. He's very good at just filling and picking up whatever's left. We see Soft Sand. You can run Lumberry. There's a lot of good options. Charizard, obviously, is going to run this Charizard Y. Heat Wave, Wither Wall, Solar Beam, Protect is a really solid set. It's dealing tons of damage. Also, importantly about Charizard is I think Floette is becoming a very strong Pokemon and one of the best megas in the game. So having access to something that resists it and hits it back really hard is valuable. And then Garchomp is just putting on a ton of offensive pressure as well next to the Charizard. But then Sneasler is another huge important part of it. White Herb Sneasler is very good. It's good to Incineroar. I think these two are really strong, but having another Incineroar answer is really valuable. Fake Out utility is nice. Having that poison typing offensively is always great, and Sneasler is just one of the best in the game. And then Incineroar obviously pairs incredibly well with Garchomp and Charizard because it's a fire type, and in the sun, it's not weak to water anymore. It's just one of the best Pokemon in the game. Running the Citrus Berry set. Now, usually the grass type slot is there to give the team an elevated ceiling. So having something like Venusaur, by ceiling I mean giving you another fast Pokemon, and by having Venusaur, you're able to Sleep Powder. You have Chlorophyll, but Whimsicott allows the other guys to move first. So having Priority Tailwind is always good. Also, Encore with Charizard Sneasler, it's just good. You're putting a ton of offensive pressure with Fake Out, so then you can switch in Whimsicott, potentially bait Encore, and Encore is just one of the best moves in the game. And then Aegislash is an interesting Pokemon here. I think Aegislash is definitely the best it's been in a long time. We haven't seen it in a bit. So seeing Aegislash here is kind of wild, but I do think it's a very good defensive Pokemon, and I think it gives the team a really good defensive backbone. Then after that, where were we? We've got ourselves a this team was actually made by UB Slow. So for those who do not know, UB Slow is one of the best Japanese players. His team building feeds families. He is so good at the game, and he's so good at team building. So this is one of the teams that he used to win a tournament as well. I should have prefaced, this is the first Western tournament. There was a Japanese tournament slightly before this one. But yeah, UB Slow won a tournament with this team. We've got a Chople Berry King Gengar. Let's start with Gengar. This is a Gengar team. It's a Perish Song Gengar team. You don't have to have too much to contribute to the Perish, right? Just pressing Fake Out Perish Song is really strong and very potent. So we have that. We start with that. Obviously, he wants to keep the Perish Song, the trap, as long as he can with Gengar, so you run Substitute, right? And then, Shadow Ball is your only offensive move, but that's okay. Then we have Incineroar, who helps enable that with Fake Out, Parting Shot, Throat Chop, and Protect. You're able to just kind of heal up with Sinestcha. You're able to keep the trap going. Because if Incineroar can live the turn, you can do this really beautiful play where you switch out Gengar into Sinestcha, heal up the Incineroar actually. Now the trap is broken, but then you Parting Shot right away. Just in case, sometimes you need a parting shot yourself just to guarantee that the trap continues on, and then you're good because you just turn 1, Parasong, turn 2, substitute, turn 3, switch out Gengar, and go to and then parting shot. It's very, very cool. It's very, very strong. But what's cool about this team too is like I feel like it's not just a Perish team. You'll notice like the next Pokemon here, Tyranitar, is a Scarf Tyranitar set, which is pretty wild. Puts on a ton of pressure, gives the team another very, very fast Pokemon. And then it's just kind of an aggressive, like, last 2 Pokemon as well with the Como and the Kingambit. Scarf Tyranitar is really good at catching people off guard. It just seems like a pretty solid set. You obviously have to be careful of stuff like Sneasler. But then we have this Kingambit here, which with Triple Berry, which is kind of neat to see the defense berries. Those things haven't been seen in a very long time. Obviously, Triple Berry is great because he does have 4 times weakness to fighting, so having that is good. And then having Define is just really nice. I think Kingambit is a very strong Pokemon. He's this set seems kind of crazy, but Kingambit just feels like he's a good steel type, and having Sucker Punch, just being able to potentially move first, get 1 hit off, is kind of all you need sometimes, right? Like a Sucker Punch plus a Shadow Ball, something's not going to live that, right? Like most Pokemon are not going to take that well. So having that obviously pairs really, really well. Low kick for the coverage. There are a lot of fighting weak Pokemon. I think a fighting type is really, really good, but the fighting types just are kind of mid, right? Like Conkeldurr doesn't have guts. Lucario's Like, so having that coverage is just really, really valuable, right? Like being able to one-shot Tyranitar, that's sick, dude. That's sick. And obviously Tyranitar has low kick as well. We already talked about Tidor. Koa, he's got that clanging soul set. I think the set is pretty cool. If you can get around the fairy types, which, you know, we have Kingambit. Like, granted, fairy types look pretty offensive, like good offensively to this team. There's only 1 resisted Gengar. But if you can get rid of them with Iron Head, with Parasong, Como can go nuts, dude. Being able to press Kinglorious Soul, you set up, you give yourself an Omni Boost, +1 in every stat, and then you just start spamming Clanging Scales. If they don't have a fairy type, they're just getting absolutely destroyed. So Como is a very cool addition. It's very interesting in the Floette meta. We'll have to see how good Como can be. Obviously, if you're able to get rid of Floette or other fairies, you're able to succeed. So yeah, that is the UB Slow team. It's very, very good. Oh, I totally skipped this team. Oops. Well, let's check it out. So we got Mega Kangaskhan Rain. Interesting. Mega Kangaskhan is a cool Pokemon. We'll talk about the set. So, Mega Kangaskhan lost its ability to use Power Punch. Granted, this happened a long time ago, but it did get access to it in Legend ZA. So some people thought that Mega Kangaskhan was going to get it back in this game. But unfortunately for Kangaskhan, it didn't. But very fortunately for us, it didn't. So Drain Punch seems to be the new filler. Low Kick is not really great. I don't think there's a lot of heavy Pokemon in this format. Low Kick would mainly be for the mirror. So having Drain Punch actually gives you a little bit of sustain, which I think is really great. Double Edge is going to be your normal move of choice because it doesn't get access to return anymore. And then Sucker Punch is priority, so you kind of take it and obviously fake out. But yeah, Mega Kangaskhan is a Pokemon that I find really interesting because it is kind of a shadow of its former self, but I still think it has a place in this game, and it is still like pretty solid and super worth using. It's just not as good as Floette, Charizard, and Gengar, who I think are the top 3. But yeah, hey, fuck it, Mega Kangaskhan Rain. Hisuian Arcanine is next with Shuca Berry. Hisuian Arcanine I think is really cool. I think Arcanine has a spot in this game. It's just more like, how do you get around water types and your ground weakness, right? Because Taro is really, really great for Hisuian Arcanine if he was able to change his type. Obviously, getting rid of those 2 4 times weaknesses is really nice. So him not being able to do that anymore does set him back. But at the same time, he's very, very good into Incineroar. He still has Intimidate. So I think Hisuian Arcanine is still a great Pokemon. It's just, you have to be a little bit more careful with him. Next up, we have Pelipper, who's obviously an incredible Pokemon in this format. Having Rain is really, really potent and powerful. It's very good into Charizard. It gives you Tailwind, it gives you Wide Guard. It has a lot of good utility, and it's very hard to KO with the Focus Sash. It also does a ton of damage with Weather Wall and Hurricane. It's just kind of like such a good Rain user because having access to Hurricane is the difference maker. Being able to hit those grass types with Hurricane, especially in this format with Sinestro being as good as it is, having Hurricane is incredibly valuable. Especially because Sinestro bodies Kangaskhan, by the way. Like, if you have Kangaskhan out and Sinestro's out, you can just Rage Powder it, and it can't do anything. You can't Sucker Punch, it can't Double Edge, it can't Drain Punch. It can Fake Out, but that's it. Speaking of Sinestro, it's next. So Sinestro is really good on this team. It helps heal everything. It's just like, it's good on every team. I think it's in top 3 in usage in the game right now, and I don't think that will change anytime soon. Sinestro just brings so much to the team. Obviously, its ability is great, healing is good, and I think in a lower power format like this, having that like little bit of heal can just completely shift or change the game. But I also think there's just a huge lack of Follow Me and supportive options like that. Rage Powder, Follow Me, I think like Maushold and Cinny are like the only 2 Pokemon you're really going to find this from. So it kind of makes sense that it has become a top tier pick because there's just nothing else to do it. Machagacha is great. It heals you. Rage Powder obviously redirects the moves towards you. Trick Room is also cool utility because it's just not a very popular move either. Trick Room strategies are just not very strong in this game. So having that little option can be really nice, especially in the Tailwind teams. Or reversing it if you do happen to find the one guy playing Trick Room. And then Strength Step keeps Cinny healthy again. Yeah, it's just a really, really strong Pokemon right now, and I think it's just going to be one of the best in the game until we get more Pokemon. Basculegion. Basculegion is really interesting. I feel like he's not as good. He really loves like Choice Band. So the rain teams I feel like have suffered a little bit because Mystic Water is cool, it does a lot of damage, but they just barely get by. They squeak by, Pokemon live, and obviously it's still really, really good, but I think not having that Choice Band really hurts the Last Respects endgame sweeps, and also, like, you just can't, like, turn around and just be annoying. But Basculegion is still very, very good. He's still very annoying. He does a ton of damage with Wave Crash. Most Pokemon don't want to take that hit. But yeah, I think he is a little bit weaker because of his lack of Choice Band, but Mystic Water is still fine. That's why I don't think we'll see a ton of rain teams at the top level. Well, I mean, like, we'll see rain teams at the top level, but, like, I think if he had Choice Band, there would be more of them. And then Sneasler, again, really great Pokemon. This one's, White Herb is just, like, Sneasler's best item. I think it makes so much sense. Obviously, a Burden doubles your speed after your item is consumed. White Herb is just really great in Incineroar. It's like a pseudo-clear amulet in a way, because there isn't a lot of, like, Icy Wind and stuff, so being able to ignore that Intimidate is really great. This moveset's pretty interesting. There's no Fake Out. We got Close Combat, Direct Claw, Coaching, and Protect. I think it's just a way to obviously enable Kangaskhan, Arcanine, and Basculegion. I think it's a really cool set, and I think this is a really cool take on Rain that I think caught a lot of people off guard. All right. So we covered 15th place this team. And then next, whoa, okay, chessboard. What do we got here? We got Mega Floette, Whimsicott, Tyranitar, Garchomp, Hisuian, Typhlosion, and Serena. Okay, well, we'll start with Mega Floette. So Mega Floette is incredible. Mega Floette is easily a top 3 Mega, maybe top 1. Maybe this is the best Mega in the game. We have to wait and see. It's obviously just day 1, but I think it's very clear that this Pokemon is very strong. So what does Mega Floette do? Whoa, it gets a Regenerator? I didn't know that. But what does Mega Floette do? It's mainly just like an amazing Fairy type. Fairy type is the best type in the game. It's really, really good defensively and offensively, and being a Fairy type is awesome. So Gardevoir obviously is a Fairy type as well, but Mega Floette just does more damage. Its ability when it Mega Evolves is Fairy Aura, which is the same as Xerneas. So it gives every Pokemon on the field basically a Life Orb boost to Fairy moves, including itself. So its ability, give a life or boost to fairy moves, and obviously you see here it has 3 fairy moves, so it's a very, very potent ability. Mega Floette has really good typing. Its stats are incredible. It's basically like a baby Fluttermane, so the first 3 stats are terrible, the last 3 stats are great. So HP and defense aren't super great, but speed, special defense, and special attack are incredible. So Floette puts on a ton of pressure, does a ton of damage, and it's just a great Fairy type, and I think that's why we're going to see it so much. So this moveset is actually pretty interesting because a lot of the Floettes you'll see Calm Mind, you'll see Draining Kiss, as we'll see later, but this one is actually just 3 strong attacking moves. Moonblast for a nuke, Dazzling Gleam for a spread nuke, and Light of Ruin for the true nuclear bomb here. Light of Ruin is a crazy move. It's base 140, 90% accurate, and it actually does half the damage you deal is dealt back to you. It's a recoil move, so It's absolutely insane because, again, it is a 140 fairy move, single target. This move is incredible. You just get hit with a laser beam. So on this team, Floette is more of just like, hey, I just deal damage, I chunk them out, and then you can pick it off with Hisuian Typhlosion or Garchomp, or vice versa, where you lead like Typhlosion, deal a ton of damage, and then pick them off with Floette in the late game. I like this team a lot because the Whimsicott, I think, really brings everything together. Tailwind is obviously good for everybody, specifically Floette as well. You can probably run like a max speed Modest set to do a lot of damage. Oh, did I mention Floette also speed ties with Garchomp? That's the level of speed we're dealing with. And on this team, I bet you it is max speed, but you can just Fake Tears, Moonblast, Fake Tears, Light of Ruin. What is living a Fake Tears, Light of Ruin? Absolutely nothing. And then Tailwind again to enable yourself. And Fake Tears with the Typhlosion is cool as well. Tyranitar, you still want a Weather. I think Weather is just so important. So Tyranitar is still here to be a Weather. Triple Berry to take those fighting hits. Knockoff is amazing. Rock Slide and Low Kick. Again, fighting coverage is at a premium. Then we have Garchomp here with Dragon Claw, Stomping Tantrum, Swords Stance, Protect. That's a crazy set. That's actually crazy, but it's fair because this team doesn't actually have a Levitator in any way, which is kind of weird because Levitate and Flying Pokemon are, like, Earthquake Spam is just a very popular strategy. Garchomp's very good, but not having it here, so just opting for the set, which I think is fair. Scarf Typhlosion. I think Typhlosion is good. He's very cool. He's obviously very, very good in the Sneasler. He can abuse the enemy sun and potentially start firing off eruptions into enemy sun teams. I think Typhlosion is just a good Pokemon. A little bit harder to team build and use in this format for sure, but I think Typhlosion's pretty solid. Serena, to stop like the fake outs and stuff, Helping Hand, Drop Kick, High Jump Kick. Serena's a cool pick. It's kind of weird, but I think it obviously works really, really well with Typhlosion. Stops those sucker punches from King Gambit and stuff like that. Because King Gambit does look like it could potentially get a little bit annoying here. So having that is great. Also, just stopping fake outs on Floette so you're able to just deal the damage and use Tailwind effectively makes a lot of sense. But Serena is a pretty crazy pick. Alright, and next up here, we have another Sun team with Milotic this time. So we got Garchomp, Charizard, Milotic, Incineroar, Venusaur, and Gardevoir. So once again, that Garchomp, Charizard, Incineroar core, but no Sneasler this time, which is actually pretty important. That's a pretty big change. Sneasler's usually on these teams. But so we have Soft Sand Garchomp to help enable his ground type moves. I like Soft Sand Garchomp a lot. I actually tested it out yesterday, and I was a big fan. I felt the damage increase, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, it just allows the Earthquakes to hit like a truck. Obviously, we got Solar Beam, Heat Wave, Overheat, Charizard. No Weather Ball this time, which I think is fair. Overheat versus Weather Ball is an interesting choice. An interesting conversation because I think both are very, very good. Obviously, Overheat doing more damage, but then like you weaken yourself, whereas Weather Ball is that consistent, good single target damage. Milotic is cool here because obviously this team is very, very Incineroar weak. So bringing Incineroar feels very, very good. But just having this Milotic, I think, enables that. And I think Milotic is still pretty good, even in the sun. It does kind of suck to weaken your own Milotic, but I think we've seen other teams like this as well. And I also think Milotic can do a lot of value with Ice Beam, right? Like, Ice Beam is very, very good. There's a lot of dragons. And I think having a Bulky Water is welcome here. Because I think Bulky Waters are just not super popular. They're just not popping off. Then we have... There's no way that's Facade Incineroar. It's probably supposed to be Fake Out, but it says Facade. I'm just going to assume it's Fake Out. Just a pretty normal Incineroar with Citrus Berry. Then we have Venusaur with Sludge Bomb, Sleep Powder, Leaf Storm, and Protect. Venusaur's scary. It's very, very annoying because, again, in this format, items were removed. So, there's no safety goggles. The only way to stop this guy from putting you to sleep is to be a Grass type, which, again... There's a Charizard, or to have Lumberry, which is just kind of brutal. And I think if you're running Lumberry, you're using it to counter Venusaur, which honestly is fair game. And I think we will see Lumberry be used. But other than that, Venusaur is free to Sleep Powder you. And there's nothing you can do or say to stop it because it's moving first because of Chlorophyll and you don't have a Lumberry or Grass type. So I think Venusaur is really strong. Obviously, they did nerf Sleep pretty hard. It only lasts maximum of 2 turns. And so... You can kind of sit through, but at the same time, if you're sleeping and Charizard is hitting you with Heat Wave, what do you do, man? That's so much damage. Charizard is a nuclear bomb, so I think Venusaur Charizard is a very good combo. And then we have a Choice Scarf Gardevoir. I think Choice Scarf Gardevoir is really, really cool. Psyshock for the Psychic move of choice, which is pretty interesting over Psychic. But obviously there are a lot of Pokemon with high special defense instead. And then we have Moonblast, obviously it's amazing. And then Icy Wind is true sauce on Scarf Gardevoir. It allows Garchomp and Charizard to be able to move first. Interesting that they took Trace instead of Telepathy. I think Telepathy pairs well with Garchomp, but obviously Trace is really cool as well, especially if you snipe like Intimidate, Chlorophyll. There's a lot of good abilities in the game, so it makes sense. But yeah, again, Icy Wind allows these slower Pokemon to move first, Charizard and Garchomp specifically. So I think it's a great move on Scarf Gardevoir and then Dazzling Gleam. It's kind of funny though, because Gardevoir does need to be timid to use Icy Wind, or to be Scarf in general. You kind of need to be timid because you want to outspeed Gengar and stuff like that. So being timid does suck a little bit, but yeah, it's a very, very cool team. Are we? No. We're on Joe UX9. We got 3 more of top 16. So we got Joe UX9's team. Joe as a player I feel like he picks a team and he just sticks with it. And he's going to stick with this one for a long time. Obviously, who knows? It's day 1. He might change. But Joe taking a Mega Tyranitar team to the top here with, I think, a lot of Pokemon that are just strong but not very popular, right? Like Rotom, Heat, and Gyarados, I think, are pretty strong, consistent Pokemon. But it's just not something you see a lot of. So we have an Okaberry Klefki, again, no Light Clay, with both Screens and Dazzling Gleam, Sunny Day. I think obviously pretty good. It's just a screen setter to help enable everything. Joe's team is about maximum bulk, dude. He's sitting there and he's going to play 16 turns of Pokemon with you. Scarf Garchomp, I think, is really good. It gives you a really, really high ceiling. Once again, like, you're just moving before everything. It allows you to outspeed Sneasler. It can set up some really cool checkmates, especially because he has so many Levitate Pokemon here. So he's like he is an Earthquake spam team. Scarf Garchomp is solid. Then we have Mega Tyranitar with the Rock Slide, Knockoff, Low Kick, Protect. So no setup, nothing. This is just like a true bulk guy, right? Like, we have Screens, we've got Sinestro, we got Intimidate. Let's bulk him up and keep him going. Which is kind of neat, because it's just like, I don't know, like, not a lot of people are using Tyranitar like this, and, he's not using those big 3 that I talked about of Gengar, Floette, or Charizard. But obviously, he's good into the other ones. He's very, very good into Gengar and Charizard specifically. Rotom Heat. So I think Mega Tyranitar is good for that reason. So Rotom Heat is cool as well. He's a very neat Pokemon. We got Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Overheat. I like the set. Like, you just get to hit an Overheat, Volt Switch out, right? Or you just get to keep that momentum. You get to keep Cinny healing your team with Volt Switch spam. I think it's just a good choice here. Also, I think Rotom Heat's a cool Pokemon, and Passion Berry is kind of fun. Obviously, Rain and Water moves are really, really good, and so having Passion Berry does make him a little bit more playable there. Lumberry, Gyarados, clearly the answer to Venusaur here. We got Taunt, Helping Hand, Thunderwave, and Waterfall. Helping Hand spam with the Garchomp, I respect it. Thunderwave to help enable his boys. The slower Tyranitar or Heat Rotom. Helping Hand obviously is sick, and then Taunt, I like it. And then Cinny, again, once again, this Pokemon is just like, it's kind of like the Baby Amoonguss, Baby Follow Me Pokemon. So I think having Rage Powder is obviously super valuable, and I think his team is obviously Screens, just super bulk. He's trying to outbulk you and outstat you, and I think Cinny helps you do that. And for the most part, he did outbulk and outstat with this team, which he wants the Heracross, which is pretty solid. What's next? We got Snivy. Okay, so we got Mega Floette once again, but this is going to be the Calm Mind Dazzling Gleam. So I see a lot of Floettes run Draining Kiss, but this one actually is running Dazzling Gleam Moonblast Calm Mind. So this one's just trying to deal as much damage as possible with those really strong, good, consistent moves. No Light of Rune. We've got King Gambit with Swords Dance as well. Okay, so this is just a setup team. Black Glasses as well. That's going to do some serious damage. Obviously, we've seen some Tropal. We've seen some more defensive options from King Gambit. But Black Glasses, we're going back to it. We're setting up those Swords Dances, and we're sweeping. But obviously, we do have Incin to help enable that. We do have Cinny, and we also have Aurora Veil. So I think it is pretty cool to run King Gambit, and I think a lot of players would not be ready for this. Pretty standard Incin with Throat Chop instead of Darkest Lariat or something of that nature. And then we have Choice Scarfed Adaptability Basculegion. This set is so good. I think this is one of the best Basculegion sets. And I think that, well, it's kind of weird because I think like Charizard is really, really good, so it hurts Basculegion a little bit. But I think Choice Scarf Basculegion is really strong. Very, very good. It's able to just hit everything. It's able to flip, turn around. And I feel like because there is no Choice Band, running Adaptability with Choice Scarf makes a lot of sense. I think this could be good on rain teams as well. I love this set a lot. I think it was very, very good in past regulations and past formats when we've used Basculation, so I think it could be good here. Icy Wind is very cool on it as well. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this set. I think this thing's going to tear up this format. I think it's so strong. Then we have Sinestro with Hospitality Leftovers because the Citrus Berries on Instant. Fair enough. Once again, Machagacha Rage Powder. This one has Life Dew to help heal its boys, keep everybody healthy. And then a Icy Wind Blizzard Ninetales. I think, again, like, weather is so important. So I think Ninetales, it kind of sucks, but also it's kind of good, right? Like, it's not a great Pokemon inherently. It's just not very strong, but it does have that utility of Aurora Veil and Icy Wind, and again, it just changes the weather, which sometimes is all you need, right? Like, Sun is so annoying for Basculegion, but if I just have this Ninetales, I can make it happen, and I can change the weather and weaken Charizard and then KO with Basculegion. So I'm a huge fan of just having a weather on your team, and I think this Ninetales does fit this team perfectly. This reminds me of like the Reg H team where it was like Sneasler with Swords Dance and then Golden Goes Nasty Plot. These are Sneasler Floette. You know, Golden Go. No, it's King Gambit Floette are now Sneasler plus Golden Go. So I think it's a very cool team though, very strong. And then we got Animated Eagle here. So this one's actually double mega here with Floette and Charizard. This one's going to be the Draining Kiss Gleam Calm Mindset. I think that this is probably the best set, in my opinion. This is the set I like the most. I'm not going to say best, but I think it's probably one of the better sets. You're able to just keep this guy healthy. There's no Cinny here. There's just Instant to help set it up, which is fair. I guess this guy, you know, you can Life Dew up. But this is like a hybrid, like, I like the way this one looks because I like the double mega idea here, because if you're playing into this, bringing Instant is really important into Floette. It's really good at stopping Charizard, intimidating Garchomp. But then you have this Milotic. But now the Milotic has even better synergy because you don't have to bring Charizard. Because I feel like you're always bringing Charizard on every, or you're always bringing a Mega. So Milotic is a little bit more clunky with Charizard. But now that you have Floette, it's super easy to pilot. You just bring the Milotic, Floette, Instant, Garchomp mode, and you're chilling. But yeah, I like this team. We got Scarf Garchomp, which I think, again, is very good. It just gives you a nice ceiling. Earthquake Spam's good with Charizard. That's a crazy Charizard moveset. We'll get to that. Icy Wind, Scald, Protect, Life Dew. Just keeps the team healthy, but also, you know, like, has a little bit utility with Icy Wind, which I think is good. Instant, Standard Instant. This is, like, the Instant set. Heat Wave, Air Slash, Breaking Swipe. Holy shit. We are smoking the good stuff tonight. That's an insane set. Heat Wave obviously is not going to change. That move will always be there. This move will always be there. Air Slash is pretty wild. I think the flying coverage isn't bad. It's not going to do a lot of damage. You just mainly want to like snipe KOs, just hit things that are super effective. Breaking Sight, we have the util on Charizard. I mean, I'm with it. It's kind of fun, especially to enable Milotic. You can't really bring both Megas in a fight, so you can't really enable Floette with it. But the utility's cool. It doesn't miss. It's kind of a funny move. Credit where it's due, Animated Eagle. That's a cool move. And then we have Energy Ball, Sludge Bomb, Sleep Powder, and Protect. Energy Ball instead of Leaf Storm, just for a little bit more staying power on the board, so you don't have to switch out, which I think is fair. All right, we are into top 8 here. Next up, we have Kotori with a Perish Song team here. We've got Politoed Gengar is our Perish Song core. Okay, no substitute, but instead Disable, which I think is really cool because you have Encore and Disable with Gengar. It's a nasty, nasty combo. I think Politoed is actually pretty good. Again, weathers are the most important thing in this format. So I think Politoed actually adds a lot to the Weather Wars because he's very, very bulky. He's easier to switch in. And obviously, the Perish Song is really, really great with Gengar. But also just like Encore plus Gengar is really good. I think Politoed Gengar is very strong, very good. Gengar, pretty normal set here. Shadow Ball, Disable, Perish Song. Obviously not running sub on the Perish Song team, but Disable is also very valuable as well. You can bait moves out, you can protect. Again, they cannot switch, so you can set up some guaranteed disables. Incineroar, again, normal set, but you are running Protect because it is a Perish Song team, so running Protect on every Pokemon is important. Then we have our boy Palafin. I think Palafin is actually a good Pokemon again. Palafin is kind of weird because you do have to respect City. And then Basculegion still exists, but I think Palafin does add a lot to the game. Like moving first with Jet Punch feels good. Also, Palafin's signature item, the item that he always runs is Mystic Water. So he didn't actually get hurt by this at all, and I think Palafin is an incredible spot. I can't wait to use him. He's probably next Pokemon. I'm about to go play Palafin games all day. What is cool though is there's no Dondozo. So Palafin actually gets to run coverage. He gets to run close combat. Obviously, Wave Crash, Jet Punch aren't changing, but you do get a little coverage, which I think is neat for the guy. Then we have Whimsicott here to help enable everything. Obviously, Encore once again with Disable. This is a very, very, like, claustrophobic team, right? Like, they're trying to cut your options with Gengar, with Whimsicott, with Politoed, and Incineroar, and you just kind of have to respect it because of Shadow Tag. I think this is a really, really strong day one team. And then we have Como, Dragon Fang, again with that Clanging Scales, Conglorious Soul set. You set up, you get the Omni Boost, and you just start sweeping with Clanging Scales. And I feel like this team actually is better covered to deal with the fairies. Palafin is very good in the Floette because its defense is really low. Gengar can also shut him down and trap him for Palafin. I feel like this team just does a lot of damage. So, and you have to respect these suffocating options such as Disable that could enable Como as well. So I think this is a very cool team. And a very annoying one to play against. Congrats to Katori for top 8. Now we got Desu's team here. So we have a sand Mega Floette team. So we have Focus Sash, Excadrill. Again, you probably aren't going to see Mega Excadrill. I think Sash, Life Orb, the offensive items really enable Excadrill very, very well. This is our first Excadrill we're talking about too. We have Mega Tyranitar and then Floette. I think Mega Tyranitar Floette is a really good combo, and I think it's going to be a combo that we see for a while. I'm a big fan of it because Mega Floette's two biggest annoyances when it comes to other Mega Pokemon are Charizard and Gengar, right? And Mega Tyranitar eats those for breakfast, right? He's eating them up. He's having a good day when he sees them. So I'm a huge fan of this combination of Megas. Yeah, there's nothing too much to say. It's a DD set, which is pretty neat. Incineroar, Sinestro obviously enable both a Calm Mind set here, but they also enable a Dragon Dance. So I'm a big fan of it. Mega Floette. Again, this one's running Moonblast Draining Kiss, so you have a little bit more staying power with the Draining Kiss healing you and that consistency of Moonblast instead of like Light of Ruin or something. And then we have a setup Incineroar here, pretty normal stuff. Setup Incineroar, a support Incineroar. But again, this one's going to run Truffle Berry because Citrus Berry is needed here and Leftovers is needed here, which are, I mean, I don't really like Lefties Incin, but I've seen it. And so I feel like no healing items, you're just going to run a Resist Berry. So I think Chopo's fine. Then we have a Life Dew Matcha Gotcha Sinestro. Again, to help enable the setup here and just to heal everything up. And then we have Rotom Wash, who we haven't seen yet, but I think he's a really strong Pokemon. I think Rotom's really good into Rain. He can be good into Charizard, too, if you have this Sand to help enable him. He's just a really solid, good Pokemon, I think, in this format. The power level is pretty low, and I think having the utility that Rotom provides is stellar. We haven't seen Rotom, like, Rotom hasn't been good, I think, since, like, 2015. Like, and since, it's been 11 years. And I think that was the last time Rotom was really solid. I think he might have been good in like early Scarlet Violet or Sword and Shield, but he hasn't been the king that he once was. Because Rotom used to be one of the best Pokemon in the game. But he's fallen from that, obviously. But I think Rotom is good in this format. I think the Rotoms are going to win tournaments. So next up, we have Charizard, another Charizard team. So this one is, again, the Charizard, Incineroar, Garchomp core, but there's no Sneasler again. So maybe it is just these three are the strong godlike core. Dragon Pulse, Heat Wave, Solar Beam is crazy. That Dragon coverage is nice though, I won't lie, and if you don't see it coming, it is going to blast you. Charizard's moveset is flexible. You really just need Heat Wave Protect. I don't really care. Like, the guy who ran Breaking Swipe, sure. You really don't need anything else. You just need the Spread Fire move and Protect. That's it. From there, this guy is a blank canvas. Venusaur is going to run Energy Ball, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, Protect. No Sleep Powder here, just opting for... Whoa, with lefties. Holy shit, I guess the Sash is here. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. I think Venusaur is good, though. I think the coverage is providing, like, Grass Poison is good offensive types. Pairs really, really well with Charizard. So I do think it is still a good, strong Pokemon here, even if it's running Leftovers. And Earth Power is a cool utility move to throw on there. We have Fake Tears for Whimsicott here, which I think is cool. Obviously, no Encore, but enabling Charizard and Venusaur to an extent is nice. Like, I mean, Fake Tears plus Heat Wave. Who's living that? Then we have Incineroar with Protect as the fourth move here, which is pretty weird. But I guess, honestly, you are on a Sun team, so I respect it. You just are like, hey, I'm just going to deal as much damage as I can with Flare Blitz, and that's really the only offensive move I need. I don't need that dark coverage. I do have a Kingambit right next to it with Choppleberry, so having Kingambit here is nice. Sucker Punch, Kowtow, Iron Head. I think Kingambit's good in the Floette. I think Kingambit in general is just, like I mentioned earlier, just a really solid Pokemon. And he's just very hard to KO. And I think putting on that Sucker Punch pressure is super valuable and super worth it. I think just pairing him with Charizard makes sense, right? Like, you're like, hey, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch. What's living that? Nothing. I'm moving first. Deal with it, right? It creates really cool pins. And then we have Haban, Berry, Garchomp to win the mirror. Rock Slide, Earthquake, Dragonclaw, and Protect. A really solid team against Sun. This is like, Sun is, you just run these 3 Pokemon right here, Garchomp, Instant, Charizard, and the world is your oyster. Pick a grass type. This guy chose 2, and it worked out. Alright, next up here we have Mega Frostlass Balance. Okay. I remember looking at this team last night. This team is pretty sick. So Frostlass, I think, is like, I don't think it's incredible, but I don't think it's bad. And I think Frostlass is pretty neat. So we got Frostlass, Blizzard, Shadow Ball, Aurora Veil, Protect. Obviously a great moveset. Blizzard, we're setting up the snow when we Mega Evolve, so we're spamming those Blizzards. Shadow Ball's doing a ton of damage. Aurora Veil is enabling all of our guys here. And then Protect, because Protect's great. I think Frostlass is a great pick on this team. I think Frostlass enables Palafin quite a bit, because I think Palafin's biggest issue is he needs the sun off. If I'm fighting against sun, I need to turn the sun off, and Frostlass does that. So, not that you necessarily need to bring Palafin versus Sun, but you could. And I think that he could be good into it. So I think being able to do that is nice. Speaking of Palafin, he's right here. Mystic Water set, we have that close combat. Again, he doesn't need Haze. He's just dealing a lot of damage. I really like it here too, because you're setting up the Aurora Veil. You're swapping into one of these 3 probably, or Arcanine. And just bringing Palafin in, switching him out, and then he's just starting to sweep, right? And then we have Kingambit here. Sucker Punch, SD, Kowtow, Black Glasses once again. We have no Fake Out, but you can just set up Aurora Veil and Swords Dance. What are they going to do about it? You're setting up, you're going to start dealing insane damage, and you're going to start sweeping. Then we have Hisuian Arcanine, Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, Extreme Speed, Protect, with Focus Sash, which I think is pretty cool, because I do think Hisuian Arcanine does struggle with those 2 4x weaknesses to ground and water. So having Focus Sash is kind of neat. It does make his switching capabilities worse, but maybe you just say, hey, I don't really care. It's just to enable him. So you might just still switch him in, right? You might just switch Palafin out into him and just say, hey, I don't care if the Sash gets broken, because in this matchup I don't need it. We have Cine with Protect, actually, Strength, Matcha Gotcha, and Rage Powder, Strength Sap. I said Strength something. But yeah, this is a good set. Protect's cool. You don't really need Trick Room, so sure. This is just, again, that utility, healing everything up. I think it's great with Aurora Veil, great with Black Glasses. And then we have Sneasler, Whiter, Unburdened, Protect, Close Combat, Fake Out, Dire Claw. Just a really strong enabler of whether it's Palafin or even Kingambit as well. Just putting that Fake Out on the team is super valuable. I really like this team. I think this team looks really, really well built. And this is probably my favorite one. I think this is cool. I kind of want to use it today. I want to make this team now. I want to play the Palafin. I want to use this team. I think this one's my favorite. It just looks so much fun to play. And it's very different than a lot of the teams we've seen so far. And then next up here we have, I like this one too. We have a Calm Mind Dazzling Gleam Moonblast set from Mega Floette, but with Talonflame. I think Talonflame is pretty cool. I think he's pretty strong. He gives you a lot of, he gives Predator Tailwind, he gives you a Fire type, and he gives you a Flying type. So I think all those things are really valuable. He does a lot of damage, he's fast, he's annoying, Tailwind's all but guaranteed. So I think it's a pretty cool pick. Obviously pairs well with Mega Floette and Garchomp as well. Mega Floette is going to be dealing mad damage. What's cool about this team is you could lead like Mousehold plus Mega Floette, set up your Calm Mind, and then bring in Talonflame and press Tailwind. So, and then just start sweeping with Gleam. I think it's a really cool team. We have a Primarina as well with Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, Hyper Voice with Fairy Feather. So mainly relying on those Fairy type moves instead of the Water one. Strong. I think Primarina is in a pretty good spot. I like Primarina. It probably should be used more. Obviously with Floette it's kind of crazy, but I think that Fairy typing is just few and far between, and I think Primarina is one of the best. But yeah, running it with Floette's pretty wild. The double Fairy coverage. Nothing really wrong with it, just it is there. Then we have a Lumberry Mousehold to help with that Sleep Powder. I think Mousehold is really good. Mousehold was one of the Pokemon I used day one, and I was really loving how valuable Super Fang is, and also just Follow Me in general, because there is no other Follow Me. There's Clefable, but there's not a lot of Follow Me. So I think Super Fang is also awesome because you can just Super Fang Dragon Claw, Super Fang Stomping, Super Fang Gleam. It's just super annoying, and I think Maushold is amazing with Floette. I think we're going to see some Maushold Floette teams. If I had to guess, I think we're going to see more of these teams. I think this combination is awesome. Yeah, Super Fang is just so sick, man. I think it's such a great move. Dealing half to something and just picking it off, OP. I'm a big Super Fang Maushold fan, though, so I'm biased. And then we have Garchomp. White Herb is cool because it kind of lets you... it's like Clear Amulet in a way, right? Like you get one Intimidate for free. So I think pairing that with the Talonflame is really nice because Incineroar does look good into this team. So being able to say, hey, you're taking a full power Earthquake, buddy, and there's nothing you can do about it. I like the choice of White Herb here, especially because there's no Sneasler, Dragonclaw, EQ, Stomping, great moveset. And then we have the classic Incineroar, who also enables the Floette, right? I think it is a great option to pair with the Floette, and I think you kind of need it. I think Incin is just the best Pokemon in the game. Sinestcha's top 3, but Incin is the GOAT. Next up, we have Sempra. Sempra the Prodigy, dude. Sempra's so good. Top 8 at Worlds. Sempra running a double Mega Charizard Kangaskhan team. So we have Charizard. Once again, Charizard. I think this moveset is the GOAT moveset. Solar Beam, Heat Wave, Weather Ball. And then you pair it with Whimsicott with Sunny Day and Encore. Weird Focus Sash, no Protect. Obviously, Covert Cloak isn't in the game. But yeah, no Protect on this Whims. Moonblast, Tailwind, Sunny Day, Encore. I think you just want all the utility you can get. Then we have Basculegion. Once again, that Choice Scarf Basculegion showing up. Dude, I'm telling you, this guy is so good. I like him with Charizard too because you don't, obviously, you have the water moves, but at the same time, like being able to give Icy Wind to Charizard is still incredibly valuable. Last Respects is still going to sweep in the late game. So I think he really can work with Charizard, even though there is a little bit of anti-synergy there. But Basculegion, I think, is in a really good spot, and I like it here on this team. And then we have a Farigiraf to stop Fake Out. Psychic Hyper Voice, helping a Trick Room. That's pretty interesting. With Citrus Berry. I don't know. The Farigiraf's kind of weird to me, but I think it enables everybody on the team, right? Like, I think it pairs really, really well with Kangaskhan as well, just to switch it in, stop the fake outs so Kangaskhan can do its thing, or with the Charizard, right? I think the threat of Farigiraf, you have to respect it. I know he's making a team breakdown, so I'd be very curious to see what the Farigiraf is really there for and what matchups he thinks it's really good in. Then we have Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is kind of crazy, but I like the double mega of Kangaskhan plus Charizard because I think it's just one of those megas. They're both so centralizing, so powerful. You know you're bringing one. So you just say, hey, I'm bringing a mega, and then I'll pick 3 of my last 4, right? So obviously you can't bring either of them together. You can't like bring Charizard. Like with Mega Tyranitar, you can bring him in games. But this time, and not Mega, but these two are Mega Hogs. You cannot not bring them. It'll just be like, hey, I'm just bringing a regular Charizard and seeing what happens. You can't do that. But I think Kangaskhan is cool. Yeah, I like it on this team. I think it pairs well with Whims, Basculegion, and Sneasler, but so does Charizard, and I think that's what makes this team so cool. And then Sneasler, Fake Out, Close Combat, Dark Claw, Throat Chop. It's just that really strong coverage. White Herb to stop Intimidate and get that boost. White Herb Sneasler is just so good, dude. I love it. But yeah, I think this is a really cool team. Congrats to December for doing so well, and this team is another one that I think I really want to try out. Now we have our finalists here. We've got that core once again, but this one's got a little bit of a different take here. We actually have imprisoned Trick Room for Graf. That's crazy. I feel like Trick Room just isn't very popular. Let's see if they even play a Trick Room team. I wonder if they did. Got a Rakuen, but no Trick Room. It's looking like no. But still, I guess having Imprison is super valuable to stop Trick Room. But yeah, it's Charizard, Heat Waves will overheat, Solar Beam, Protect. Pairing that with Whimsicott, Moonblast, Tailwind, Protect, Encore again. These two are deadly together. It gives you that speed control to let Charizard move first and put pressure onto other Charizard teams as well. Again, Encore is really great with Charizard because you're so afraid of the damage. Sneasler to help enable all these guys. And then Scarf Garchomp as well here. We only have one Levitator, but that's okay. Scarf Garchomp is still such a good check. He can checkmate things. His speed is off the charts. I think Scarf Garchomp is incredible. Definitely worth using. Then we have this Farigiraf, Hyper Voice, Psychic, Trick Room, Imprison with Citrus Berry. A Trick Room answer, but also just, again, to help enable everyone else to stop those fake outs, to stop those priority moves. And then we have King Gambit with Dread Plate, with Swords Dance as well. Just know, I guess you have fake out to help set it up. Yeah, sure. Okay, I see it. I see the vision. So you do have Fake Out plus the King Gambit to get it going, but you also have Charizard plus Garchomp. You have really good combos, right? Like Charizard Sneasler, Charizard Garchomp, King Gambit Sneasler. And then you have these 2 support Pokemon that you can kind of weave into the team. at a moment's notice. I think it's a cool take. It's very different, a little bit different than the other Sun teams, and I feel like having this King Gambit Sneasler mode, I like it actually. I like the King Gambit Sneasler mode a lot. I think I would change the Furgraf personally, but maybe the Furgraf added a lot of value. I think also maybe just having that Trick Room is good in the mirror, in the Tailwind mirror. So, yeah, a second place team. And then finally, the team that won is Gambling VGC 92. Don't know who that is, but either way, they won the entire tournament, grabbing home that big cash. I didn't mention this earlier, but this was a cash tournament. So, like, I feel like that adds a little bit of viability to it because you're like, hey, there's money involved. These guys were trying. I mean, not that they're not trying every time, but I think it brings more people in and it creates a higher level of play when there is money involved. So we have Sneasler, Focus Sash. Our first Focus Sash Sneasler with the Swords Dance King Gambit. This is a King Gambit team, and I think King Gambit is great. So we have Sneasler. You set up Fake Out for the King Gambit, Black Glasses, and then you have Follow Me as well with Clefable. I talked about a lack of redirection, but we've got it right here. We've got Clefable. Follow Me helping get Moonblast to help enable King Gambit. So the first three Pokemon, this is a King Gambit team at its core. Holy, this team is crazy. Okay. So we have Mega Delphox. Mega Delphox won the entire tournament, by the way, which is pretty crazy because I feel like, I mean, we didn't talk about Delphox at all. This is the only one in top 16. Is there another one in cut? No. There's no other Mega Delphoxes in cut that I'm scanning. Yeah, I think this is the only one. If I missed it, I'm sorry. I'm not seeing it. If I missed it, and I'm really sorry to the other Mega Delphox if you were in there, but if not, yeah, this is the only Mega Delphox in cut. Heatwave Substitute, Psychic Protect, I think it's pretty cool. I think Delphox is good. I think it's very strong into the Garchomp meta. Having Levitate is actually incredibly valuable. It turned out to be the perfect ability for it. It puts on a lot of pressure. It outspeeds Gengar. Yeah, I think it's great. I think this team is also, it just looks pretty good into like Floette in general. It also walls Floette. It seems like such a perfect call for this tournament, honestly. I'm a big fan of this one. I mean, I'm a fan of all these teams. I just want to try them all, but I like this one a lot. I like the call of Mega Delphox here. I think Substitute is great. I think you just need Heatwave Psychic. The last move really is filler, and I think Substitute is a good move. So yeah, I mess with it. Then we have, no way, we have Scale Shot Dragonite with Lumberry. It's just Scale Shot. I mean, Scale Shot is cool, right? If you hit enough of the Scale Shots, you're still dealing good damage. On average, it still is a strong move, and you can enable it. Like, it's giving Speed Boost to Dragonite. He's doing lots of damage. He's good into Charizard. He's good into Garchomp. That's sick to see, Scale Shot Dragonite, even though it has no loaded dice. But I do think, like, on average, if you're getting 3 hits or more, it's super worth it. It's a super good move. I think it's going to outvalue Dragon Claw. Obviously, if you get the 2 hits, it does suck a little bit. But I think overall, I think if you're hitting 3, you're feeling good, which on average, you're going to hit more than 2. But if you low roll, it sucks. Extreme Speed is still valuable. I think Dragonite is still in a good spot. Like, maybe we just have to accept that Scale Shot is good, and you just have to hope that you don't get low amounts of Scale Shots. But I think it's pretty cool to see Scale Shot Dragonite with no loaded dice. Extreme Speed, Haze. Yeah, because I just haven't seen Dragonite outside of Mega at all. But maybe this is the truth, dude. Congrats to Gambling VGC for the 6th set. Then we have that Choice Scarf Basculegion. Once again, I think he's just incredible, man. I like the cores that we're kind of seeing here. Obviously, like, if we look at the usage, Incineroar's number 1, Sneasler's number 2. Right, and then Cinny, Garchomp, and I think that makes sense. Basculegion also really popping off on this tournament, but also you have to take this tournament with a grain of salt because it is a day 1 tournament, so obviously things will change. But also, like, Archaludon had a ton of usage. He did terrible. He had a 43% win rate. He did absolutely abysmal. But the biggest winner, get ready for this one, guys. Get ready for this one. Where is Floette? Floette had a 60% win rate. Like, literally, can we organize by win rate? Okay, besides like these crazy Pokemon, Floette is one of the best. I also think Aerodactyl is mad sleeper. I think Aerodactyl is really incredible. But yeah, Floette did really, really well. So did Kangaskhan. So yeah, but I think the big one here is the Floette doing as well as it did. I think Floette is going to be one of the best Pokemon in the game. And I think you definitely have to respect it. But yeah, Incineroar number 1 in Top Cut. He also popped off as well. Mega Floette did even better in Top Cut, but yeah. I think we'll have to see. I think this format is pretty cool. I'm excited to keep playing it, and I hope we do get the items in the future. But for now, I think this is a really neat isolated early format. And this is kind of what I wanted, and I'm very excited to see it. Floette is obviously a huge winner here, and so is Delphox as the champion. But there's a lot of Pokemon to keep an eye on. I think Palafin is really incredible. And I think Archaludon sucks, so I wouldn't recommend using that guy. I think he's terrible. Charizard also a really incredible and strong Mega. And hey, I mean, Dragonite low-key popped off with that loaded dice set, so we will have to see. I think there's a lot of cool teams. Again, I will link them down below if you want to try them out, or like all these teams for yourself. I think these teams are awesome, and I'm very excited to see the future of Champions. So if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time.